I'm first gonna print the benchy. Let's try it. I'm fooling you. Come on. Everyone's doing that. That would be so boring. Nah, I refuse to print this. Never printed it and not going to do it.
Recently I was looking for a printer which would have some features that I don't have on the 3D printer I was using until now.
Designer Award 2025.
And guess what? Exactly in the right time, the shop geekbuying.com came across and sent me this Elegoo Centauri Carbon to check out if it's worth using. They have a really good sense of timing, man! I was looking for a machine with core X and Y mechanics, a closed chamber, the possibility to print materials with glass or carbon fiber, and it had to have the trait of being called a reliable printer. By reliable, I mean it will be able to produce by itself a part without me being forced to check if everything is printing fine. Just designing, slicing, hitting the print button and going away, and coming back for the finished part. If after watching this video you'll be interested in buying such 3D printer, there will be informations how to do it in the description. Setting it up for the first job was quite surprising for me. After taking it out of the box, there are only some fast steps to do until you're ready to do the first print. There are 3 screws to remove. I guess these are for safety during the shipping. One cut on the zip tie. It reveals the real face of the machine. Then the display. The top cover goes on the top. Next is the filament holder handle. Here is the filament routing tube. It goes straight to the printing head. And here is the pooping feature thingy. And the first startup. The display told me to check if there's nothing inside. I guess we don't want to crash into some foreign body.
I guess so.
And there goes the last thing before our first print. The 3D printer needs here some time to think about the sense of life, if it came to the right place, whether the weather is okay, if the table is cozy enough. That kind of questions is now inside its brain. It even vibrates a little bit. I think I don't want to go deeply into the details. Anyway, now it says it's leveling automatically. I love the word automatic. I mean, I love machines I can control by hand, but somehow the fact is that I'm building automated stuff all the time. I guess sometimes life drives you by its own idea. If I was not filming all of this, then I think I would have had this ready in like 30 minutes, including the self-checking of the printer. But considering I had to film it, it took me a bit longer. Oh yeah, and the Wi-Fi connection.
Nice.
This was one of the features I was looking for when I was looking for the printer. Anyway, it seems the 3D printer is ready for work. They sent me also some filament, so I won't be greedy when testing it. Let's start with PLA. It can't be easier as that.
Well, let's try it.
And the camera for live view. Sometimes I do work on my PC, which usually is not located in the same room as the printer. That's a nice feature too. At the beginning of my speech, I have to admit, I didn't even read the manual for it. 3D printers have changed a lot from when I got my last printer. About 2 years is a lot for technology. I thought that in order to put the filament inside, I would have to do everything by hand. Even jogging the extruder like in the old ones. By the way, man, the nozzle is heating up really fast. Yeah, great. I was able to load the filament the wrong way, but I guess we are fine though. There goes the slicing and sending the file directly to the machine.
There is this file. and we wanna print it.
It is a sensor bracket for my CNC lathe I'm building now. No time to waste. The first layer is usually printed slowly. But man, this is fast. Printing done. It did the job about 10 seconds faster than predicted. I'm speechless and totally honest. It is impressive. By the way, at this point, we have a 100% success rate. All parameters from the stock material list Elegoo provides: 0.2 mm layer height. Putting aside the speed, the part looks really fine. When I was testing the 3D printer, it was Christmas time, so I tried some decorations. Huge thanks to all the designers who let me use their models. All credits can be found in the description. I was printing in vase mode for the first time. Came out quite nicely. Actually, this was a two-piece print. I like it. After first prints, I have already some conclusions. It is freaking fast, and I didn't even set it at 100% speed. About the core X and Y mechanics, the print head moves in X and Y, while the table is able to move up and down on the screws. Also a cool feature, automatic leveling. Never again knob adjusting your bed. I didn't like that on my last printer. I've had some tough time doing that. I mean, it had the automatic leveling feature, but you had to adjust by the knobs the bed a little bit anyway. What I really like here is the touch display. It works very well. The displays on the new 3D printers, like this Elegoo, have much more features. Wi-Fi stuff, internal light, fan settings, and memory access with 3D image of the programs that are inside the memory. Here's also access to the USB memory. It's much more convenient to use USB drives instead of SD cards. There is also print history with some details. For example, you can see here that I forgot on one of my prints to add threshold supports, what of course lead into an unsuccessful print. Here are the manual controls, nothing fancy, basic stuff. And some other nerdy settings. I don't know how other similar printers do, but what I really like is here the fact that you just take this machine out of the box and it prints. No difficult adjustments. Generally speaking, after first power up and you just load the filament in it and there we go. I love how the 3D printing technology improved after the last years. Also, what I want to mention here, I hit the start button and see how fast it heats up. I sped up the footage 10 times. In 25 seconds, the nozzle temperature raised by 100 degrees and the bed by 15 degrees. After hitting 140 degrees, it starts to do all the homing and there is time for the bed to heat up to the initial temperature. When the bed is ready and the nozzle is cleaned, it heats the nozzle to the desired temperature and we start the print. Let's do some more PLA to get things started nicely. I decided to do some more Christmas decorations. What you see here now is real time. The acceleration of this printer is, to say the least, impressive. They say the cast frame helps it, and I think I'm about to believe them. My whole family liked a lot all of these decorations, really cool stuff. Let's take a step further and go with something a bit more difficult. Here is it. PETG, semi-transparent, decoration color. Perfect match for my DIY machine work. To make sure it is dry, I heated it in the oven for about 5 hours. Everyone has an oven in the basement next to the workshop. Perfect for filament drying. First print on PETG. A bit stringy first layer, but I guess that's something to adjust with printing parameters. The rest of the layers went smooth. I tried also the grey transparent filament. I heard that the transparent PETG filaments tend like to be printed a bit slower. It's hard to go slower when you see that your printer wants to do it fast. My wife found a nice thing on printables.com, so I loaded the blue PLA again.
The poop.
And I went straight to printing. First try with a bit longer print. What I also like about Core X and Y, I can't take videos shots and it doesn't shake like crazy. Small detail, but makes it warmer in my heart. These smooth, fast movements. One day my CNC mill will be as fast too. Hopefully. Five hours of printing, and there we go. Super fast PLA printing. I cannot say the quality is any bad. I did it on basic 0.2mm layer height. Despite of being really fast, the quality is really fine here. The next level of difficulty, TPU. It's a material which behaves like rubber. Cool to have for parts like seals or soft handles. Some crazy people even print shoes with it. By the way, there is a knife which cuts the filament inside. In the past, 3D printers were just heating up to melt it and you had to pull the filament out yourself. Here it just heats up a bit and cuts through. Before getting this 3D printer, I've heard people were complaining that they had issues with printing TPU when it was inserted on the filament holder and loaded through the tube. Let's try it. Now I'm gonna start the print remotely through Wi-Fi from the PC in my office. And there we go. TPU prints much slower than PLA or other basic filaments.
Oops.
And this is what happens when you don't wait until everything cools down. Also, the fill of this part was really low, so it was quite weak. It was just to test if the printer even handles TPU properly. The fill was like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15%. I guess it was 100% my failure. The walls of the print looked pretty fine though. I calmed down and started a second one in the background. The second one, after calling, came off fine, even though I didn't add more fill that time. Inner hole had to be about 8.5 mm. I'm totally fine with the outcome. And it compresses nicely. And here I went with another long run, this time with PETG again. Seven hours for such huge print. I have to work a bit on the first layer settings, but overall, after the first layer, it prints very well. And that's what I would call a reliable printer. 7 hours of printing? No problems. This thing can be found in my description as well. I think you'll guess it wasn't quite my idea, but I know someone who will enjoy it. The name says Centauri Carbon. And I think carbon stands here for the ability to print carbon fiber materials. The hardened nozzle which comes with the printer allows to print the stuff without destroying our nozzle. Those carbon fiber materials are good for more useful parts in machine building in some cases. Usually carbon fiber adds wear resistance, hardness, stiffness and heat resistance. This was one of my requirements for my new 3D printer, being able to print something that should be strong. I've heard people saying that the tube has to be released of this drag chain to successfully print filaments with carbon fiber. When the machine is homing, it might break inside, if the tube bends too much. Materials with carbon or glass fiber are not really flexible due to the hardness. But I see they did this already for the customer out of the factory, and when buying this printer from a recent batch, you don't have to do it yourself. I bought a small spool of filament to give it a go. I found a small model of a HDD pulley. It prints quite fast. First try and first success without no issue. I used the parameters recommended in the Elegoo slicer for similar materials. I like the surface finish on it. Here is it in a comparison with the aluminum one I bought for my project. I'm wondering how long would this printed one survive if it wasn't working in hard conditions, just for light loads. It fits the belt perfectly. Next one, ABS. It's a material which is out of range for typical bed slingers without a closed chamber. It requires a warm environment and high bed and nozzle temperatures to print properly. This is my first print attempt at ABS ever. It is quite strong, resistant to heat and quite cheap, but hard to print, and it releases some fumes which aren't good for your health. Even though this Elegoo Centauri Carbon has an active carbon filter which keeps most of the fumes inside, I wouldn't recommend sitting next to the printer when it's printing this material. I won't call it a successful one. I did something wrong. For my next attempt, I added a brim for better adhesion. I preheated the chamber with heating the bed before the print for like 30 minutes and raised the temperature for the first layer. Seems right. Let's do the first part again on the adjust parameters. Oh yeah, much better. Sometimes experience is the key. I would call it not bad. Finally, I went with a prototype body of a part I will do soon for my CNC lathe. The chamber heated up to about 40 degrees, bed temperature about 100 degrees, nozzle 280. With not that big fill percentage, it printed in 7 hours. It printed quite nicely. However, I think I could improve it a bit still looking at the side walls. With a small brim, it sticked to the bed really well. If the printer had active chamber heating, it would be perfect for ABS, but heating up the chamber manually with the bed temperature is a way to go. The support removal wasn't that bad too. The last material I wanted to give a try was ASA. It's similar to ABS but prints a bit more easily, doesn't warp that much and has similar specs when it comes to the toughness. It also requires a closed chamber, but it emits a bit less fumes. It is much more expensive though. 55 minutes and the part is ready. I was printing it on similar settings as ABS. It looks much better than ABS. It was printing quite smoothly. If you can afford it, it is an interesting material to have nearby. I printed on this Elegoo Centauri Carbon at the moment when I stopped filming the footage for this test for over 40 hours. At the moment when I'm editing this video, it's already double that. I enjoy how 3D printing recently improves. It got really beginners friendly, even though I'm not exact a beginner anymore. The speeds and accelerations are huge, the quality of the prints is great too. But most important, you just push the print icon and don't worry. No need for glue, no need for adjusting the bed by hand. For the price it costs, I recommend it without no doubt. A closed chamber 3D printer capable of reliable printing parts of most materials commonly used. In the past, such machine would cost a lot more. There are a few little things which could be better, but keeping the price in mind, I'm not sure if I could demand anything more. The first thing I would improve, as someone who often films the process, a better camera would do well. The camera here doesn't offer the best image quality, but it serves its purpose, which is having a remote live view. I read in the internet that there were plans to make this printer capable of switching between filaments during the print. Probably it won't happen anymore, as I heard they work already on the Centauri Carbon 2. It would be nice if it could switch to other filaments for printing supports from other materials or adding layers of other colors for some projects. And the last thing, I thought it would be a little bit less noisy due to the closed chamber. It's not as loud as my old Betzlinger, but it could be a bit quieter. Overall, I'm really happy with it. It is fast, the print quality is great, and it prints all the materials I could imagine I will need for my work. If you would like to order such 3D printer, you are welcome to check out the link in the description. Huge thanks to geekbuying.com for sending me this printer so I could show it to all of you. Also huge thanks to the designers from printables.com for sharing their work. All the links to the 3D models I was printing, which were not my designs, can be found in the description. Also a huge thanks to all my Patreons, and thanks for watching.